Okay, we're back again with Coach Pitman Kennedy. And today's topics and subjects we're going to talk about is how and what makes Coach Pitman Kennedy. What gets this guy up every morning that he sends me these Facebook posts, let me know he's working out and I need to get out the bed.
What time? Early?
6 o'clock I get him.
Before that.
No, that's when you post them on Facebook. So we're going to, again, every session, every time we meet, it's all about the leadership and development of youth, and not just the youth, but adults also.
Yeah.
So with that being said, I'll turn it over to Coach Pitman Kennedy.
Good afternoon, everyone, and it's always a pleasure to be here. I take your time, very special, the time that you take from doing other things that could be important to share with us. But I tell you, there's always value added, because there's always one or two things that you can extract that can add value to your life or your athlete's life or anybody that needs it. So thank you for the time. I'm excited.
I am also. So let's start first. Let's start first with why every morning. No, I got a better way to discuss this, because you tell a great story about 2 years ago, right when COVID hit. You said, I'm gonna get myself in shape and I'm gonna work out. You tell the story better. So go ahead. Let's lead to that.
Is that what you're starting with?
Yeah, let's start.
All right.
Because
So
I want to know, why do I get these Facebook posts every
I'm
morning?
not sure if it was driven by let me get in shape.
Okay.
But I will tell you that during COVID, I set a little goal for myself, because I went from working in the office to teleworking, and that means I had more time to work out.
Okay.
So what I did was I started this journey of doing at least 3 miles a day, and then on the weekends I would extend. So for it not to have a wear and tear on my knees, I would alternate running versus walking days. So if I walked on Monday, I'll run on Tuesday, but I did it every day. And then next thing I looked, it had been consistent for 30 days, and then 60 days, and now 90 days. Before I realized that I was in the fall, and I was almost to the end of the year. So that drove me to complete the year. And then once I got to the year, from April to December, I was about 8 months in. So I continued the journey, and to my surprise, it was I completed a complete 1 year of consistent work, didn't miss a day. And it was not something that I started with planning, but it happened. So, but that changed my mindset and affected my life as well, because it proved to me the concept of consistency and how important that is.
So it all really started with a goal.
Yes.
For the most part, right?
That's correct.
So that's one of the things that I think a lot of youth and younger athletes and parents don't understand. We as coaches and trainers and coaches have that mindset of, okay, little Eric comes in the gym, here's what I want you to do for him, but I don't understand the goal that you have behind, or I don't understand the work that takes place to set that goal.
Yeah.
So can we elaborate on that a little bit more?
No, absolutely.
Or how important it is, excuse me.
Well, it comes down to process. You know,
Okay.
there has to be tremendous amount of respect for the process. On the any endeavor you take, whether it's athletics or whether it's life goals, the process is important, okay? Because the process is what grants formation, okay, to the result.
Okay.
All right? You don't just translate a thought into an idea, okay,
Right.
without going through a process.
Correct.
That gestation process has to go through it, because if there's not gestation, you will not have an end result process that you value. All right? Here's the thing. If you look at a person like yourself or myself, we've done 20 years plus in the military. So we don't take all that good and just hand it to somebody and say, enjoy the success.
Correct.
We have done them a disservice, okay?
Yes.
There's a lot of negativity in not going through the process, because when you don't enter the process and go through the process, you actually don't value the process. The process is what defines the product.
And I think a lot of people miss that part of it all, from the, hey, let me just get to the end part.
Yeah.
You know, I bring my son to you at 8 years old. By the time he gets to 9 or finish being 8,
Yeah.
I want him to play like LeBron James. That's the part of it all. The words I want him there, and we all forget that the first thing we should possibly do is take realistic goals and set them, and make sure you understand or you know those goals that we want, and then that way we're all on the same sheet of music.
Yeah, it's murderous to win too soon. You don't want to win too soon in any aspect again, because the best seventh grader in the country, in the world, goes to the eighth grade.
Yep.
He's not going to play pro ball tomorrow. So we as coaches have to understand that we collaborate with parents and the athletes to inform the athletes that, look, your success, it lies in your progression,
Yes.
not an end state.
Yes.
Okay, just because you may get ranked or rated or in some capacity doesn't mean that the work ends. But here's the most important piece: every level gets new devils. So as you progress in your development, in your grade, and those types of things, the work has to be commensurate. So the work level increases. Your focus must increase.
Yes.
It's all part of the process.
It is.
There has to be tremendous amount of respect for the process.
And that's where I think sometimes we get we allow the rankings and the ratings and people on the outside getting in your ear to mess up our process of getting to that end.
Yeah.
And that's where I remember we used to have conversations in reference to having kids ranked too early.
Yeah.
I was a fan. I'm still a fan of it, but again, being a fan of it, you still have to make sure you, the athlete and the parent, all understand that whole process. Understand, yes, I might have the best seventh grader, but next year he's not the best eighth grader.
That's correct.
He's not going to be the best eighth
But
grader.
here's what the danger of ranking kids early is, because if you take a 12-year-old and tell him he's the number one player in any area or capacity, what's the first thing that comes to his mind? He don't understand that everybody else is chasing him. He don't understand that that ranking is based on the observer's perspective,
Correct.
not entirely of everybody. He also does not understand that as he progresses, so many other athletes progresses. He's a 12-year-old.
Yes.
So if you don't effectively communicate that ranking really has very little value, then guess what? He tends to rest on his laurels. He thinks that next year he's going to be the number one eighth grader. The following year he's going to be the number one ninth grader. So that's why I don't like rankings. But if we have them, we have to make sure we communicate them effectively to our athletes so that they don't use them for the wrong reason and do a disservice to themselves.
And that's why I think things like this is important, because if you don't talk about it, it becomes that elephant in the room that no one wants to talk about, or they're afraid to ask those questions to their coach.
Yeah.
Well, coach, hey, what do you think of this? And just because we have a disagreement of how we see it, it's still, like you just said, you still can find value away from it.
Yeah.
And finding, that's the important part of it all, finding that value and pulling that value out and help keep that athlete on track.
Yes.
Because the process, the goal, that's why you set those goals, in the process help match everything, keep everything there. And then the communication and just help keeping them, and then we're talking about character and all those things come into play. So that's where you have that well-rounded athlete. Let's go back to you in reference to, we talked about why, your goal of what you set to say, hey, every morning I'm gonna get up, I'm gonna get this work in, and you started for 30 days, and you started for 60. So whereas I remember when we completed the year, I believe you went over, was it over 1,500 miles?
It was over 1,000 miles, I think between 1,200 and
And I
1,300
think
miles.
the distance was from, if I'm correct, it was from like Florida all the way to California, I believe, or something like that.
In close proximity.
And so with that part, how do you make sure you get up every morning and you do it now? Because now I get it, you reach the goal, you still doing what you do, and then how do you add that to make sure when you travel, when you go from here to Liberia to Florida to all these great places, that you still make sure the work gets completed and you add that with your work? How do we wrestle with all that?
So one of the things that I learned along the way is understanding yourself. Okay, you understand yourself to adverse times. That's what adversity does. It reveals a person to themselves. See, when everything is all cool and there's no challenges, you create a zone, what we call the comfort zone, and nothing really grows. You don't grow there. It's when you are faced with challenges, that's when you find, every great solution, every great innovation came out of a problem. We need to understand that. But how do we understand it? You understand yourself by programming your mind. So it's called mindset management. So the first thing I did, I gave you a little bit of some of my secret to success, is that I was faced with an adverse situation at some point in my life. It was significant. So the first thing I did was look myself in the mirror and took accountability. And then I decided to work on my mindset, right? It's the mindset is the most important thing you can work on. You see, the mind is given to us for free.
Okay.
But we underestimate the power of the mind. Everything originates in the mind. Our thoughts, our perspectives, our attitudes, everything formulates in the mind. So what I did was I formulated my mind process to where I had to employ some disciplinary habits and make some sacrifices in order to achieve a greater outcome. So something simple as waking up an hour early will add tremendous value to your life. See, your life is a continuous process improvement. Okay? A lot of times people talk about process improvement, they relate it to business and organization, but you got to do process improvement on yourself.
Correct.
Okay? In your time management, in your relationships with people, in your professional engagement. What are you importing in your mind? So those things will help move your life forward. See, but when you start to do that, there's some things that's going to happen. You're going to lose popularity.
Yes.
You're going to lose a lot of friends because they're going to think that you isolated. You're not isolated, you're just focused, right? Because what drives that focus is understanding what is going to be my value proposition when I engage an athlete and engage a parent. Right. You have to be quality. You have to demonstrate that you have confidence in your ability. If you don't show such confidence, you as a parent do not entrust me with your child. Right. Because parents are looking at you holistically. They're looking at your character, your integrity, your discipline, your professionalism, your focus, your communication. Right. Do you understand what you are teaching the kids? They're looking at you holistically. You're on the stage. So if you don't take care of yourself, then what do you have to give them? What to give them at all? Okay. Because you cannot give that which it is you don't have. Did I say enough there?
You did, and I want to kind of go back to the beginning a little bit, what you said in reference to, you didn't say this word, I'm saying this. So how do you convey to a parent or a child, a student athlete about failures? Because for me, I believe we need failures.
Oh yeah.
Failures are the catapult to us go to the next level of whatever we're trying to do in life.
You remember one of the things I talked about in mindset was perspective?
Yes.
Okay, perspective drives progression.
Yep.
So the way you perceive failure is going to determine how you embrace it, right? Okay. A lot of successful icons were rejected at some point in their lives. Correct. You didn't just wake up and get everything that checked off.
Yes.
But if you don't understand that failure, is just an opportunity to conquer something even greater, then you're going to always stop at the point of failure. Okay. You have to understand that your consistency, your progression from one point of failure to another is what defines you. Right. Because remember I talked about adversity reveals. Yes. So failure is an adverse event. Yep. Every point of failure. Now the resiliency that we are all equipped with is what pushes us beyond that point of failure. And sometimes the point of failure may be multiple. But there's always value-added lessons learned that will equip you for the next encounter. Right.
So really, I know failure sounds so negative, but really failing at something is trying to use a situation to be successful.
Yes.
You almost look at, right?
Absolutely. In fact, I was at an organizational event in Boston last year, and they had this thing they call the fail cake. Okay. When the team fails, they go and buy a cake. And the entire team celebrate around that because they look at what we call lessons learned. Wow. And extract opportunities from that failure that they will build the next best product. Yes. So our coaches doing that with teams. Can you imagine that concept? Oh, man. When everybody moping and everything, is that the time to bring the kids together and share the ideas and look, this is not the end of the world. You, especially at the grassroots level, when you're not going to remember who won this game 12 months from now. Correct. So celebrate failures and use it as an opportunity. I promise you, it will build great team cohesion. Because what happens when we lose? We are divided for the most part. Yes, we do. And point fingers. All teams always take the attitude of their coaches. Yes. Okay? If coaches start taking ownership for losses, instead of saying you, start taking ownership. I need to do a better job coaching. Correct. The kids now will feel a little bit relaxed and be able to communicate. Because I will tell you, what makes great coaches is great minds that they have. The kids have great minds, but if you don't tap into it, you miss it. Right. You can't just think that because you are the coach, you are the only knowledge. Right. No. You have to make sure you tap into their mind because you want to know what little Johnny was thinking, or you want to know what Lisa was thinking. You know?
And how
So,
everything-
yeah, and you want them to be comfortable in expressing that thought.
Correct.
But if you are frustrated and you infuse their minds with that negativity, it's going to shut them down.
Yep. Yep. So let's go to what keeps you staying motivated. What things do you do? We know you like to exercise and keep fit, so that's one of the ways that I'm sure you relieve stress. But what are one of the factors or one of the things that you do to keep yourself going? Is there like books you read, or do you meditate?
First of all, I identify my purpose, and my purpose is to leave legacy by touching lives. That's it.
Okay.
I don't think there's a higher order for me during my lifetime than to leave a legacy by touching lives, touching and making an impact.
Okay.
The problem with that is people don't understand that. And what I've seen in my journey is every time you make or escalate to a level, the criticism becomes more, it increases.
Correct.
Because that's human nature. So what you open your heart to do may be perceived as there's something you're expecting on the other end.
Okay.
Because some people don't know you contextually. They don't know historically. You know, what I do, I've been doing since I've been a man.
Right.
It may not be at this level or this volume, but being nice to people and helping young people has been something that I've been doing since I know myself as an adult.
Right.
But in a certain area, a certain capacity, one may perceive it as you doing this for that, you know, but that's not it. So when you drive your purpose, you find things to refuel your mind. So yes, I read books. I listen to certain leaders that are my mentors, and I extract from them. Obviously, the greatest teacher is the Bible. The Bible gives us everything we need to know. But we have, you know, the late Miles Monroe. You know, those guys infuse my mind. I read books from antiquated books to make sure that I keep myself focused, refined, and refreshed. Because without doing those things, it's hard to move from one day to another. Given the circumstances, you know, you have to evaluate every relationship you have. Like the relationship with you and I is happening because since almost 3 years ago when we met, we've been going together. So you're somebody that I consider a loyal, a trusted person. But you can't say that for everybody because people are agenda driven.
Yes.
So if your mind is not ready to evaluate and not analyze them, and also more importantly, decide when to make process improvement, because process improvement means that sometimes you got to eliminate, and then sometimes you got to recruit.
Yes.
Because if your team is not filled with like-minded people, then you start to fail as an individual.
Yes.
So what I do is I read books. I give myself quiet time. I wake up 3 o'clock in the morning and start my day, and yes, I do. So if you look up, I know I go to work at 5:30, 6 o'clock, but I do wake up at 3 o'clock every morning. And on the morning that I'm overloaded with work, I wake up at 1:30.
Oh, wow.
Yes, I'm focused on that. I'm focused on driving excellent outcomes.
Okay.
Those are the things that people don't see behind the scenes.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. So what's next for you in reference to, I know you want to build a legacy of helping others and leaving a legacy for yourself. What's next? What chapter are we in right now?
I'm close to signing a contract for a rented space in Liberia right now, a rented space.
Okay.
Goal is to own a space at some point in time.
Correct.
You know, ownership is paramount in the line of work we do. So that's a huge success because you always got to reflect on where I come from and where I'm ending, you know, where I'm heading. Being able to affect change globally is important to me.
Correct.
You know, today is Liberia. We're looking at opportunities once we go past Liberia into other countries, all parts of the world where there's a need for the concept of sweat equity, and where we teach in our value proposition, we are going to embark and engage. If it's something I just merely selling out an apparel can drive excellent outcome. You'd be surprised. Somebody say, I want a t-shirt. Well, if you get a t-shirt, then they go and work out. I don't even have to tell them to work out.
Right.
But because they've seen the video, they've seen the t-shirt, they want to be part of it, and now they're improving and enhancing their life because of this original piece of apparel. So you may not know your impact, but it's there.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how are we, what are we doing in reference to the kids here, the youth here? I know you started back with working out with the grassroots here, Nike Pro Skills, and then doing a phenomenal job with those guys. I think I haven't, the 2 weeks that you worked out, I haven't had one negative thing. I mean, after every time we work out, the kids are just like you've seen the videos.
Yeah.
So again, the video speaks for itself. What's next?
Well, increase the bandwidth. I'm always looking for high quality people to be on my team.
Okay.
To develop as young coaches, because I'm finding out I can be everywhere.
Correct. I've been
I'm
telling you
just one
that
person.
last year.
So, but I'm also looking to build this consortium of great young minds to help move the brand forward, both in the United States and abroad, because collectively we are an institution.
Correct.
You know what I mean?
Correct.
We're an institution that serves more than just doing basketball training. This video right here is somebody taking and dissected, unpacked it piece by piece. Their life could change for a different turn if they put the time into it. It's all up to them. But I have to build up this team of young professionals that not only going to help the program move forward, but also leave their own legacies because of what they absorb from here.
I like that.
So that's kind of what's next. Keep moving forward, leaving a footprint, building the right people. You know, I'll tell you, finding high quality people is hard.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
we're in an environment, again, with the beginning of the conversation, where we talk about the process. A lot of people want instant gratification.
Right.
A lot of people don't understand the concept of loyalty and, you know, and commitment to a process. So what happens is when things don't fall their way or they don't get what they want right away, they throw in the towel. If I had done that, we're not sitting here today.
Correct.
You know, I went to the military 21 years and, you know, yeah, I was told no. You can understand that. You can relate to that. We are told no so many times when we thought we were supposed to be told yes. If we had quit at those instances at any point, we probably don't have a resume that says we've done 20 plus years in the military. So I want my young people to understand, my team to understand that, look, adversity is what reveals you. Adversity is what develops you. Challenges, setbacks, roadblocks, those things, embrace them and move through them. Okay, because I will use a quote from one of my favorites from a Greek philosopher, Marcus Aurelius. He said that impediment to action advances action. The obstacle is the way. Think about it. Wherever stops your action is your opportunity.
Right.
And that obstacle is your pathway. Navigate it however you can. When we start to understand that, but make it more practical, you will start to find out that there will be very little things that will stop your progress.
So, you know, we're going to wrap it up. So with wrapping it up, I want to do a word of the week, a sweat equity word of the week to support the leadership and development of the youth and adults. What would that word be?
Enthusiasm.
Enthusiasm. Okay. Elaborate a little bit if you don't mind. Why enthusiasm? What if enthusiasm is the word?
If you are not enthusiastic about anything, you will not achieve successful results in that. Whatever it is that you want to accomplish, you have to show a level of enthusiasm. Because if you are asking somebody to come in and invest in your business or partnership with you, and you show very low enthusiasm, how are they going to be encouraged to join venture with you?
Correct.
So enthusiasm. You remember in life, you are your own marketer. You gotta market yourself.
Correct.
You are your own ambassador. When you open your mouth, you tell the world who you are.
Sure.
So you show them enthusiasm or you show them lack of enthusiasm. Either one you show them, that's your call. But you must be enthusiastic about that, because there's nothing on the other side of success that don't have that degree of enthusiasm in there.
All right, well, we can go ahead and, as usual, leave the audience with a few words. I know you just gave the word of the week, and it's going to be enthusiasm. Would you like to say anything to the audience before we leave?
Yes,
Parting words?
always a great opportunity to share. You know, I will tell you this, a little bit about my story, because that's important. Humility matters in what you do, all right? We don't know where we're going to end up tomorrow. None of us do that. We don't know. God don't give us that. So what you have to do is, the way you can determine where you're going to end up is how you formulate yourself today. Keep your head and your heart in the right place. And your pathway will be clearer and more defined. So leadership starts with yourself, always. Leadership is not tied into a position or a title. Say, I'm a coach, I'm a trainer. No, leadership is tied to yourself. If you carry yourself the right way, people will gravitate towards you. So start with yourself small in all those areas, whether it's discipline, whether it's waking up early, whether it's reading a book a week, whatever it is. Start with yourself. And then somebody else gonna look at you from the outside and say, I love that. I love that about you. I want to join. I missed the gym when I was traveling last time. I missed the gym from Liberia, 1 or 2 workouts. And somebody asked me, what's going on? What's going on? Where have you been? We feed off of your energy. So it's important that you start leading yourself first. You keep your head and your heart in the right place. Your future path will be clearly defined for you, because those things are the fundamental principles to moving forward successfully. Thank you very much.